This is Empire Sports Alliance, Unfiltered. No fluff, no filters, just the real side of sports. We're talking athletes, coaches, agents, doctors, executives, the people behind the scenes who actually move the needle. From building careers to surviving the grind to winning off the field. This is where real conversations collide.
Welcome to another episode of Empire Sports Alliance Unfiltered. I'm Ronnie, I'm the wealth guy. Got my co-host Eric.
Hey everyone, Eric, sports chiropractic physio concierge service.
And today we got Tyler Kulka, quarterback with the Nashville Kats in the Arena Football League. So welcome to the show, Tyler.
How's it going, guys? Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely, yeah. Tyler, you played in college, you played international, you're in the Arena Football League now. So why don't you give us a little bit of a little background, when exactly you started, what your journey looked like, how you ended up, again, playing for Nashville at this point, please.
So I started from the time I was a little kid and, picked up the ball and had my little Halloween costume and watched my dad's high school tape, and I always wanted to play football ever since. And, my family felt like it was important to put God first and stuff like that. So, what I did was I wasn't able to play sports until middle school, because then finally the games weren't on Sunday, so I was able to actually play. Had a lot of fun with football. Played in middle school, played in high school, had a ton of fun, played for a really great program in Michigan. And then from there.
Is that where you're from?
Say it again.
Is that where you're from? You're from Michigan?
Yes, sir. Born and raised in Clinton Township, Michigan, Macomb, Michigan, probably about 45 minutes from Detroit.
Nice.
Claim to fame, Eminem's daughter went to my high school. She was a year older than me. Anyway, but yeah, so I played, all 4 years of high school football, and, actually had an opportunity before my senior year to go to a BYU camp, got an offer from there. My plan was to go to BYU and went and served a 2-year mission for my church.
Yeah.
And during that time, there was a coaching change that happened at BYU. So, they didn't really know the new coaching staff didn't really know who I was or whatever. And so when I came back, they were starting football for the first time at Lawrence Technological University.
So one second, real quick, I got to ask. So BYU, they basically committed initially, and then they have a coaching staff, and that just all of a sudden, everything that happened before is like null and void?
Yeah, so basically it wasn't like null and void. It was I got a PWO, which is a preferred walk-on opportunity to go play there. And so when I went on my mission, I was going for 2 years, and after my first year there was a coaching change. And so there was an opportunity to still go. My plan was to still go, possibly walk on and do that. But again, with a coaching staff that doesn't really know you, that didn't really watch you compete and, have that opportunity, I was just kind of like, well, I don't really know who these new guys are. And then the opportunity of Lawrence Tech came around, and that was starting football for the first time, and they wanted me to come in and be the leader and start as a freshman and play and stuff like that. So I jumped on that opportunity. It wasn't necessarily that the scholarship was null and void. It was more of the coaches don't know who I am. I could go there and still walk on and get a chance to compete or whatever. But the idea for me was that opportunity came about to go start for a brand new Division II school and be able to be the starter and play and be that guy, and ended up going there and starting for 5 years and being a captain for 5 years, and starting for over 40 games in college football. Kind of unheard of. So it was really cool to get that experience there at Lawrence Tech. It was really
basically
awesome.
For you at that point, again, you could have walked on with BYU, obviously Division I school, but then you got the other opportunity where you say, hey, the brand new Division II school, and you basically chose the opportunity from a perspective of actually having playing time, knowing you're the guy, getting the opportunity to showcase.
And in high school, were you always quarterback, or did you play with other positions also?
So when I came in, when I came into football, I just wanted to play. So, I wanted to play receiver like my dad. My dad was like, well, you're kind of tall. Maybe you should play quarterback. I was like, okay, yeah, I'll try it out. And so then it was funny because my 7th grade year, I was a fullback, but every time we threw the ball, they'd snap it directly to me and I would throw it. So we'd run the ball like crazy and I'd block and run the ball. But then it was like when we throw it, they'd snap it right to me like a shotgun, and I'd throw it to the actual quarterback who ended up being one of my best receivers in high school. That was kind of really cool. And then my senior year, we started pretty rough. I think we were 2-2 and lost some big games. My coach kind of had give the starting knob to my backup, who was the principal's son, and ended up the rest of the year playing wide receiver and linebacker, because I in 9th grade and 10th grade I was quarterback and middle linebacker. So then I went my senior year and started at middle linebacker the rest of the year, and then also played receiver. And then I never left the field And then so that was another part of my story, but whatever. Yeah, I played a bunch of different positions in high school.
Play any other sports?
Yeah, I played four sports in high school. I also did track
great.
in middle school, but I did 4 sports in high school. I did football, basketball, I played hockey, and I also played baseball.
Nice.
All right. Could you I mean, obviously that, I would imagine that helped you from a development perspective at quarterback, right?
Oh, 100%. I played a little bit of third base
Yeah.
and an outfield and stuff like that. Throwing from different arm angles and things of that nature, was really great playing baseball. Basketball, a lot of, my pocket movements, quick movements all came from basketball. Hockey, some of the toughness and the grittiness and stuff like that. And then also the other big thing from hockey was, now I'm playing arena football and I'm basically playing on a hockey rink,
On the rink. Nice, yeah.
with grass, right? So that's kind of cool.
Oh, that's good.
Nice.
But anyway, so again, Lawrence Tech was the right fit for you. And then again, so you played 5 years, you said?
Yes, sir. Started for 5 years at quarterback.
Okay, good. And then what happened after that?
I always wanted to play. Ever since I was really little, I wanted to play professional sports, whatever sport I was playing, whether it was hockey or baseball or football, I wanted to play professional sports. And so, coming out of college, I was like, well, I don't know. I got some interest from, the NFL and the CFL. And I was like, well, let me try and do that. So I ended up, getting a pro day and going to 5 senior bowls and, just trying to get my name out there, get
Yeah.
noticed, being a D2
Well, you have
guy.
plenty of tape though, right? That's what I was asking. You have 5 years worth of tape, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So tons of tape and, a lot of these senior bowls wanted me to come out and compete. And I was able to go compete with the best of the best. I went to senior bowls where SEC schools were there, Big Ten schools were there, and I was able to go out and compete against some of these really good quarterbacks. And, I went out to 5 senior bowls and did really well. And then I was able to get a pro day at Western Michigan and also a pro day started at the GLIAC Division II, Ferris State, Grand Valley.
Yeah.
Did that. And then I also got to throw at Western Michigan's pro day that year, Division I school. And so, my name started to get a little bit of buzz and started to come out there. And, I got some CFL interests with the Montreal Alouettes or whatever. So I got an opportunity to go there, and I ended up getting a call from my agent. He's like, hey, what do you think about Japan? And I was like, I mean, I'd heard a little bit about it, but I was like, football in Japan? He's like, yeah, there's a team that's really interested. I was like, okay, send him my film. And 2 days later, I was getting on a Zoom call with Tokyo at 9 p.m. at night for me. It was 8, 9 in the morning for them. And they were just waking up, going to work. And I was like, okay. And so like, yeah, we want to fly you out this weekend. And I was like, okay, sounds good. And so I went out there for a 2-week tryout against KJ Carter-Samuel, quarterback for Colorado State. We competed. At the end of those 2 weeks, they ended up offering me the job. And I was like, this is really cool. Good money, good opportunity to go start again, play and be the guy. Because in Japan, you only allowed 3 Americans. So, you use those Americans.
Still, right? Okay. European
Yeah.
soccer had that too. Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Yep. So it was like, well, I'm the guy because I'm one of the Americans. So, I was like, all right, well then, then it was kind of like, well, do I go in the CFL? Do I try my luck in the CFL? I think there was 5 or 6 guys they were bringing into camp. I was going to have to compete for the practice squad spot. And so in my mind, I was like, well, I'm going to go to Japan and play, get more film and keep balling and all that stuff. And who doesn't want to go live in Tokyo? That was pretty sweet, man. Honestly.
Yeah.
When were you in Tokyo?
Say it again.
When were you in Tokyo?
So right after college, so 2023 and 2024.
So Tokyo's amazing. I treated at the Olympics in Tokyo.
So cool.
I've been there twice, and it's the cleanest city.
Yes. No. Yep. It is. They say that all the time, how clean it is. And you know what? They don't have trash cans over there.
Do you know why?
Because they carry all their. I've been there. Yeah. We have to carry our garbage. We have to bring backpacks and carry our own garbage.
Your own trash. So you take your trash and find a trash can and throw it out.
Exactly.
There are no trash cans on the streets or anything.
Did you guys do that at the World Cup when the Japanese were still in?
Yeah.
They were making their noises right with their trash cans, and it's like at the end they would clean up their own trash and throw it out. Like
Yep. That's Tokyo for you. So what did you think of the food being over there? That was probably my favorite part, honestly.
Well, I was in the Olympic Village the
okay.
time, so it was all Olympic food,
Gotcha.
We got out and there was this, I remember this, it's the Tokyo Eiffel Tower.
Yes, I've been there. Yep.
It was like a 5-course meal or something, right? And you
hmm
eat it on the floor. It was unbelievable. One of the
Yeah.
best meals ever.
Oh, unreal. Like I always tell everyone, the sushi, the ramen, going to get yakiniku and shabu shabu. Man, that was my favorite. That was one of my favorite parts of being over in Tokyo
And
playing
you get
ball.
some of that stuff in the 7-Eleven also.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. That's exactly right. 7-Elevens are everywhere over there.
They are.
Crazy.
So on a personal level, so you liked it right from the get-go, right? Because again, if I think football, one of the last places I would think of is Japan.
Oh, yeah.
And so but from a cultural perspective, in terms of like the people, etc., that was fun. That was good. What's the culture like in the actual football? How do they? I know they're big on baseball as well, but how was that like?
So like I always refer to it like this. Like if you think of American sports, I would say football in Japan is about as popular as maybe MLS here is in America.
Okay, so it's
So
like
that's kind of
okay.
yeah, it's a little different. Like baseball is their football.
Right,
Like
right.
if you've ever been to a high school baseball game in Japan, it's like NCAA college football here in America. Like it's live, it's loud, and they fill professional stadiums, and high school baseball is crazy. Baseball is their NFL. And
Right.
then basketball and basketball is probably about the same here in America. Soccer's pretty popular. I think rugby's also kind of up there, kind of like probably baseball is in America. Rugby's probably in that kind of range or whatever. Pretty popular over there.
Rugby.
Yeah,
And again, I'm
rugby's
not
very
trying
popular.
to stereotype, but the vast majority of Japanese folks I've seen, they're not the biggest individuals, I guess.
Yeah. No, you would think so, but they love their rugby. One of my really good friends played for one of the Kubota Spears over there, and we really good buddy of mine. He's actually Tongan, and he plays for one of the teams over there. And I've been to a few games, and those games are
Actually,
huge
you know
over
what?
there.
I might want to take that back because they do have sumo wrestling out there too, right?
That's
So
true. You don't forget about sumo wrestling. Sumo
okay,
wrestling's up there as well.
yeah, yeah. Those
So
are pretty big fellas.
what's the field like in the game? Is it more like the NFL, the CFL, or arena football?
So in Japan, it's college rules, NCAA rules, just like normal Big Ten. 1 foot in bounds. Same timing, all that stuff. So it's just college rules basically.
Okay. So how long did you play in Japan then?
So I played there for 2 years on 2 spring championships over there. Both years I was leading quarterback, did really well over there. It was a lot of fun. My team was really great. Loved living in Tokyo. Loved my teammates. They're some of my greatest friends or whatever. My tight end played for Boise State, stood up in my wedding, stuff like that's a really cool experience for the
Awesome.
last 2 years. Yeah, so cool. And then I got married and left Japan and kind of came back to America trying to start my life or whatever. And all
So
of a sudden, the Nashville Kats come around. So that was
when you
pretty
were
cool.
still in Japan, though, quick question there in terms of like, did you get any calls from any like again the CFL, the NFL, and all that stuff? Hey, we saw your tape.
Actually, yeah, I was signed and ready to go to the UFL with the Michigan Panthers, USFL.
Yeah, yeah,
And so what happened is when the USFL and the XFL came together and merged,
yes, a couple of years ago, right?
8 teams in both leagues turned into 8 teams total. So 16 teams
Yeah.
turned into 8. And so when all that happened, they had to pull from those 8 teams that got cut of players rather
Yeah.
than signing new players. And so that happened right in between my first and second year in Japan. So my first year from Japan, I actually wasn't planning on going back. I was planning on coming back and playing for the Michigan Panthers.
Huh?
And then when those leagues merged, I ended up just staying in Japan and having another year there, which was really cool, obviously. During that time got married and all that stuff, which was, really, really awesome. And then, I had some CFL interest, an NFL team had wanted to work me out at one point, but I was mid-season in Japan at that
Yeah.
time and was able to fly out for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I had some CFL interest in the off season, but it was also in the middle of the season where it was like, it was tough because in Japan, you're in week 2 and the CFL team calls you and they're like, hey, come in and be the practice squad guy. And you're like, well, I'm making pretty good money over here. Football's pretty great over here. And I don't want to leave my team high and dry week 2 of the season. And also the other thing that's crazy about it is in Japan, you can't bring in new players. So you sign your 3 Americans at the beginning of the season, and those are your 3 Americans, whether they get hurt, whether they leave, whatever.
So you would
So it's
completely
like,
basically let them down if you left like that.
exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Because I'm one of their 3 spots that they use. For me, it was like, yeah, I don't want to. It was a tough situation either way. I wasn't going to leave my team high and dry middle of the season like
And how
that.
long is the season there? How many weeks?
So they start basically same as college. They start end of August and they end right at the beginning of January.
All right. So then the Nashville calls you.
Yeah, so I come home. I'm getting ready for figuring out what's next,
When was this?
trying to say again.
When was this exactly? Was this just this year in 26?
No, so it was last season.
Yep.
Last season I came home and I was like, okay, well now I finished my 2 years in Japan. Alpha CFL team is ready, a UFL team or whatever. I'm ready. Like this is my time. I'm back now. I can do all those things. And so I kind of came back and got the call from the Cats. I guess the first game last year, their quarterbacks had 7 turnovers. And so I got a call and said, hey, I need a quarterback. And I was like, okay, sounds good. I'm coming. And so I came down and in my mind, I was like, well, this is just time to buy myself some time for my CFL tryouts coming really soon or whatever. And then pretty quickly I was the starter and pretty quickly I turned an 0-2 team and helped them become the number 2 team in the league and winning all these games. And now Kulkamania is running wild.
I was going to ask you about the rise of Kulkamania.
Yeah, literally. It's crazy. God blessed me pretty good there. I don't know where a fan kind of made up Kulkamania and winning games and, scoring touchdowns and flexing in the end zone and Kulkamania was born.
Is that your dance? That's what you do?
I mean, it depends on how I'm feeling, but that's...
Are you ripping your shirt off?
No, but I think that game that fan saw, I think it was my 3rd start in arena football. And I remember I scored a touchdown and someone got up my face like, let's go. And I was like, let's go. And I flexed with him or whatever. And there we go. Turns out I'm a wrestler.
There you go. Can you tell us a little bit more? We had a couple of guys on, NFL guys, defense, offense as well. And tell us a little bit in terms of the field, obviously being way smaller, the game being faster and all that stuff. Could you explain a little bit, especially from a quarterback position perspective?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's really, some people are like, oh, the game's just so much faster. Like if you watch Kurt Warner's movie, he just says, oh yeah, like the NFL people move really slow. And really it's not that they move slow. The problem is the field is cut in half. The field is cut in half. And the biggest thing in a passing game is all about spacing, right? So when you go throw, I'm running a concept where I'm going to try and stretch the defense and have spacing so that I can create openness for my players. And so when I go out there and I take a drop in arena football and my field is cut in half, there's not as much space.
Yes.
So everything has to be on time really fast because there's not as big of windows as in the NFL. Or in the outdoor game because the field is so much wider, or even the CFL game. The CFL game is even more wider, right? So it's these windows that all these NFL players play in. It's shrunk, and so you have to fit that ball into a lot tinier windows, and that's why the game is so much faster. Especially you have to get that ball out so fast and things like that, just because those windows close a lot faster for you.
But isn't that what you're known for, though, in terms of quick, release, pocket passer accuracy? I kind of did a little research. That's what they say about you. So is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, I'm blessed with some pretty good receivers that make plays for me. But I mean, that's what I do well, and that's what I've always done well is being able to get the ball out quick. I got a quick release, and this game really benefits my skill sets really well.
How long did it take you to adapt to the quicker play, though? I'm assuming there was a learning curve, right?
Of course. I was protected a little bit, I think, my first start last year. I think I came in, I was in there with Rakeem Cato, who's top 10 all time in the NCAA passing list or whatever, played for Marshall. And I came in and I was kind of competing with him. And the first game we were there, that week of the game, we weren't supposed to have practice on a Monday or something, but we had practice on a Monday. And before I came, I said, the only thing I have is I'm throwing at a pro day. I'm just throwing at Marshall's pro day in front of all 32 NFL teams that year. So I was like, well, I need to go to this. This is why I came back to kind of try to get in the NFL and the CFL. So I need to go to this. And he was like, well, like, obviously I'm not necessarily happy about that, but because you're competing right now, but like, you can't pass up that opportunity. And so I went, and it's the week of the game. And so because of that, and whatever, could have been other things or whatever, he was obviously a decorated quarterback in his own right too. But I ended up not starting that game. He came out, started, we lost the game, and whatever happened, some things happened during the game and they let him go after the game. And then it was my turn. And so I think my first game, it was, first of all, during the practices, watching him, he had played arena for 4 or 5 years. And so watching him and seeing how he progressed and how he went to certain things in the concepts and stuff like that really helped my learning curve. But then going into the game, my first game in arena, it was like, I felt like I was protected a little bit. Some easier plays, some easier throws. Let's get get him in a rhythm here, quick game, a lot of stuff like that. And so with that, then literally by game 2, the whole playbook opened up and I was right on it. And so I think my development and how my coach did it was perfect. And, I'm so grateful for my OC last year, Coach Anthony Payton, who kind of like really showed me the ropes of arena football and protected me in that first game to show me, hey, this is not that hard. You can do this. Everything came around at the right time.
So, did you take harder hits in arena football in Japan or college?
Arena, for sure. Japan's awesome, don't get me wrong, but I think here in arena, not only is the ground is a little bit harder, it's not grass or whatever. So the ground's a little bit harder. Usually it's turf on top of concrete. So the ground's a little harder for sure. But then also I think we got some really good talent in this league. Former NFL players, and you're playing against, I think every week I've played against an NFL D lineman. And so that's every week you're going against great competitions. I look at my D linemen that I play against every day in practice, Cleveland Browns with Malik McDowell and the Seattle Seahawks with Rod Perry and, just great talent all across the board in this league for sure.
Are they still trying to get back into the NFL, or is this kind of like after they're done with the NFL?
No, they're trying to get back.
Okay.
Malik McDowell played for 2-3 years with the Browns, and Rod Perry played 2 years with the Browns, 2 years with Seattle, and I think he's trying to get back into the league as well. So this is a stepping stone to trying to get into the NFL and the CFL. Obviously,
I was going to say, what is your take on this end? Obviously, again, you played internationally, right? Et cetera. But arena football, I mean, the window isn't closed for the NFL, right? I was just talking before the show with Eric in terms of like mostly what we watch is obviously the NCAA, and then you watch NFL on Sunday. But there's so many other leagues, again, international, local, et cetera. It still gives you an opportunity to, again, produce tape. What I've noticed with all the players that we had on the show so far is, hey, the opportunity again to play, the opportunity to put something on tape so people can see what you can do for them. Not really, it wasn't really about the league they were playing in, just more like, again, having tape available. What's your take?
Yeah, if you look at my career, we talked about it, right? Going to Lawrence Tech instead of going to BYU, where I was the guy and got, 40 games to start and tons of tape, going to Japan instead of being a practice squad player in the CFL, like, getting tape is regardless the better opportunity.
Yep.
That's how you get noticed. That's how you show other teams, hey, I'm still working hard and I can do this, and this for your program. And so, I'm trying to relive the Kurt Warner stories. I'm trying to get in the NFL. I'm trying to do all those things. And
I think you're younger than him. How old are you now?
I'm actually 29. His first stint in the NFL with the Rams was when he was 30. So I'm 1 year younger.
There you go. That's what I was saying. You got a year time. You're good.
That's right. I got a year to do it, right?
Yes.
So I'm curious from the medical side, what have you noticed for treatment from the teams in Japan versus arena? And then like I get called out and take care of guys privately. In a couple weeks I'm flying out for a baseball player and stuff. Are you guys having to find your own people like me to take care of you, or are you good on relying on the team and what they offer?
So usually it's done by our director of football ops, Clint Gum. He kind of found our treatment partners and things of that nature. I know some players will go and get massages or some things like that, but I know what they offer has been really good. Chiropractic care, stem, needling, things of that nature. Anything you need to kind of get your body back on track to get ready to play on Saturday.
So they got it all in-house?
Yeah, so it's all in-house. And Japan was really cool. I mean, Japan was legit. Like they had full-on staff that, would come into practice every week, and training staff with maybe I think 5-6 people that would come in, and, also tons of students that were coming in that wanted to get into athletic training and stuff like that. And, they would come in on the weekdays and help us do treatment and things of that nature. So that they had a full on, 6 to 7 people of training staff that would come every single weekend to help us out. It was all everything that I've, dealt with has been really in-house, honestly.
So would you have changed any part of your path at all, or are you happy with the decision you made and all the choices?
I think I'd be lying to say, what if I did this, or what if I did this differently, or went to BYU instead, or whatever. There's a lot of things that, you always kind of look back like, oh, should I have done this? Should I have done that? But at the end of the day, like, this is my story. This is who I am. This is, who I've decided to be and what I've chosen to be. And I'm pretty happy with where I'm at in life, honestly. I'm married, got a little baby now, a little son,
Congrats.
and thank you. Yeah, no, like I'm really blessed, playing professional football and getting paid to do it. It's a dream come true for me. Who knows where I would be if that wasn't the case. God is good. I'm blessed. I wouldn't change a thing.
Good.
Awesome.
When does the arena season go from?
So usually we report to camp in March. Season starts in April, and then and then the championship game runs until August 9th. So we're here. We're the 1 seed. We're playing this weekend against the Albany Firebirds to lock up that 1 seed. I get to see my brother this weekend. It'll be pretty cool.
I was going to ask you about that. Your brother plays
Yeah.
football as well, right?
Yes, he does. He just started last weekend and was the MVP of the league last weekend. Did really well. Really proud of him. So I'm excited to see him this weekend.
Quarterback also?
Yes, sir. QB. So I'm definitely excited to see them this weekend.
Yeah.
What you say?
What's that, Eric?
Who's the better between the two?
Man, see, that's not a fair question. We're different. Can I say we're different? Can I say we're just different quarterbacks?
You can. It's the political right answer to give, Tyler, but let's cut it. Who is better?
Well, it depends on what kind of quarterback you want, right? I think
A winning one.
we go. He's a little taller than me, maybe a little faster than me, maybe a little bit stronger of an arm than me. But I tell you, man, I'm pretty accurate and I'm pretty
So
quick
you're
with that
basically
ball.
Chad Pennington versus, like, let's say a guy with, like, Drew Bledsoe. Arm accuracy.
Drew Brees, more Drew
Yeah.
Brees-esque,
Okay.
and he's more, Justin Herbert-esque. There you go. How about that?
There you go. There you go.
There you go. Perfect.
But no, so you're in the midst of things. You said you're in a 1 seed right now?
Yeah, we are the number 1 seed. We go into this weekend playing the Albany Firebirds. They are the 2 seed, and so we go into this weekend to lock up that 1 seed and have a home field playoff advantage.
Well, sure. And you took time to come on this show with us. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. That's good.
Of course,
Yeah.
100%. Big weekend. Actually, the reason why I was in the car, I was getting Epsom salt to kind of take care of my body here.
Nice. Okay. So you're a quarterback. Your brother's a quarterback. Twofold. The
Yes, sir.
questions are kind of like your take. Quarterback mindset, what separates a good quarterback from a great quarterback? And then also kind of like the leadership that comes with that position. What is your take on those topics?
I think for me, I just always handle my business the way it's supposed to be handled. I always try to live my life exactly how it's supposed to be. Like I'm always early. I always stay late. I always am in the gym. I'm always doing what the coach tells me to do, even if it's not necessarily the best thing. Like, or maybe I don't think it's the best thing. I trust my coaches and do what I'm told to do because at the end of the day, it's all about leading by example. I'm not the one that's going to come and yell and get in your face and say, "Hey, you need to do this," unless they need it, right? But I think the biggest thing is being a leader is leading by example, and that's what I try to do every single day here with the Cats.
Has that changed over the years? Were you at one point the yelling type, getting in people's grill, or you're always kind of just the same?
I think I'm just really passionate. I love this game. And so I think, my younger years, maybe when I wasn't the best leader that I could have been, I think at times, I would get on people for making mistakes and things of that nature or, stuff like that. Just being a passionate player that just loves football. And so, when I see myself putting in a lot of extra work, like doing all those things and I see other people not doing it and then, wondering why they're not playing, that'd be frustrating to me. And so, I get into people a little bit and be like, if you want to play, this is what you have to do. And, I think I've learned like that doesn't really help and it doesn't really benefit anybody. And so through my years, I've had to learn, hey, like, I'm going to do exactly what I need to do. I'm going to be an example for you and you can either follow me or the coaches are going to make that decision to let you go or whatever they need to do. And so it's definitely something that's been a learned thing over the years for sure. And every so often, old Tyler comes out and he gets a little frustrated, but the biggest thing I focus on is leading by example.
Yeah, I did watch some tape. You can get a little fury, right?
Of course. I get a little fired up. I'm a competitor.
Good. Sorry, Eric, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, ask him your golden question.
I was hoping you would say that, Eric. So, Tyler, are you a shit talker? You talk trash? You come out the huddle? You pointing at people? You looking at them? What do you do?
I would say I'm not a shit talker. No, I am not I'm not a shit talker. But if you do something to me that is kind of outside the lines of the game and try to cheap shot me,
so a little bit more of an elbow as I always sacked you. It's just a little.
Yeah, I'll let them know about it for sure when I truck them in the end zone. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like I'll make sure to let them know that they're not gonna push me around like that. So I wouldn't say that everybody gets that kind of Tyler, but some people get it.
I mean, do you have players that you come across that that's their intention? That the scouting is like they want to get under your skin. I'm just
Oh
thinking
yeah.
from an NFL perspective as a D tackle, or I mean, he played D tackle. You were talking about the Detroit Lions earlier. And
Mhm.
Ndamukong Suh, right? He was always a guy that kind of got under people's skin on purpose. I'm a Texas
Oh yeah.
fan, so I remember a particular game when he played for Nebraska. I think he had 7 sacks or something.
Yeah. Yep.
How about when he stepped on Aaron Rodgers after
Yep.
that?
Yep. That happened.
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah.
Was that intentional?
Yes. 100%. Come on.
Yes.
Well,
He got fined and everything for that.
Yep. Yep. And it's crazy because being a Detroit Lions fan, who didn't love Ndamukong Suh?
I mean, you gotta love him. I mean,
Actually, during
player.
COVID, I used to fly out for one of the Lions players once a month. He would fly me out, and I'd go out there and take care of him.
Love it. That's awesome.
So, how do you mentally prepare for the game then? Before that, you have any particular routines, any particular music you're listening to, meals, all that stuff?
I think for me, I try to stay light and positive. So for me, it's a lot of upbeat beach vibe type music. Some Forrest Frank, some God music, stuff like that. Just kind of light, upbeat type music. I try to stay away from carbs the whole day. I try actually not to eat a lot at all. I don't like eating a lot on game day at all.
Oh,
Maybe,
really?
yeah, maybe. I know we have pregame meal. Usually I have a little bit of like a piece of chicken and some salad.
So
And
very light
that's
stuff.
yeah. Even like I don't do breakfast on game day. Like I just kind of very very little. I try to not eat a lot on game day, and usually after the game, then I'll go out
But are you
go somewhere fun.
because of nerves, or because you need energy to keep you going and keep you strong?
So I'm a little ADD. I've never really had a problem with getting energy.
Oh.
I've never drank coffee. I create my own, and I just have a lot of energy as well. Like just in general. So for me, it's not really an energy thing. It's more of I just want to feel light when I'm out there moving and trying to be quick and run and do these things. I'm just trying to feel like I'm light out there. Like I'm not feeling lethargic. I didn't eat too much, stuff like that.
Got it. All
That
right.
makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Now, okay, so in terms of like during game adversity, let's say, again, you throw an interception, right? It's always like, what we hear is like you have to forget about it. And I understand you probably gonna forget about it. You go think about the next, play, but do you really forget about it? Can it be in your head a little bit?
So here's the thing. It's kind of interesting. So
I'm not saying you ever throw interceptions, of course.
yeah, I mean, I've only thrown a couple this year. I'm actually doing pretty good on that. But I would say the thing is for me with like adversity, interceptions, things of that nature, I'm the kind of person that just likes to right the wrong. And so for me, like I'll let it eat away at me until I get another opportunity, right? So until like, and maybe I shouldn't do that, and that's maybe wrong. But I think when I go out there, like it eats away at me a little bit. I think about it for a little bit on the sidelines. But guess what? When I get that ball back in my hands, I'll make that next play. I
So
promise
you
you.
use it as
It's out.
motivation. So basically,
I guess you could say that. I'd
Hey,
say,
if
yeah,
it
definitely.
fuels you, there's nothing wrong with using it. As long as
Right.
it doesn't consume you, but it just pushes you, there's a big difference.
Right. And I think my position is the worst for me personally, because if I make a mistake, I have to go sit on the sideline for a little bit. Where it's like, in my mind, I just like playing football. So interceptions suck even more for me because that means my drive's over. So I don't get to go back on the field until the defense gets me another
Yeah.
stop or whatever, right? So for me, like it's even more extra, like I have to go sit there and think about it on the sidelines a little bit rather than being able to go out the next play. Like maybe if a D lineman misses a tackle or things of that nature, they can go out the next play and get a sack. For me, it's like if I make that mistake and that happens, dang, that's might be another, 5-10 minutes before I get out on that field and able to play again. And so for me, I just like to play. I like having that ball in my hands. I like being able to command an offense. I like being able to do all those things. It's probably one of my favorite things to do on this earth. So like for me, it's like, well, when I throw an interception, I don't get to go throw a touchdown and I have to go wait 10 minutes to do it again. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a little bit of extra, like you said, motivation or whatever. Just the little kid in me that doesn't get to play football for another 5-10 minutes.
I just feel like it could be a thin line between like you're sitting on the bench. I'm like, all right, I'm fueled, like again, I'm motivated and not forcing things. Do you think there's a thin line to that where it's like, hey, as soon as you have the ball in your hand again, now you're overdoing? Can that be part of it or no?
No, because I think my game is very take what the defense gives me. I'm
Okay.
never like, I want to get the big play.
Yep.
Like that's never a big thing for me. I'm a very like, I've learned through my career where I don't have to throw a deep pass in the game at all. I don't have to. For me, that doesn't bother me.
Yes.
I play in
Yes.
completions. So I'm sitting there, as soon as I get the ball in my hands, I just want to throw the ball to my best friend. I'm playing catch with my teammates every game. And so I'm sitting there, that's what I want to do. I'm the little kid, the little 5-year-old kid that loved just playing catch in the backyard with his dad or his friends in the backyard or whatever. So that comes out in how I play. So if I throw the ball to the other team, that's me throwing the ball to not my friend, right? So it's like when I go back out there, it's like I don't have to press or force. It's just I'm gonna find my friend that is open and I'm gonna throw him the ball. And that's, for me, that's fun.
So do you prefer playing catch with your friends, or do you get more of a high with, 20 seconds left and you got to drive the ball and win the game that way?
Well, can't we do both?
Of course.
That's it.
I got 20 seconds left. Guess what? We're not running the ball, right?
Right.
I'm be playing catch with my friends, and we're gonna go right down the field and score that touchdown and go celebrate afterwards, right?
That's
That's
correct.
that's the idea. So
In my mind, it doesn't faze me. It's just like I said, it's going out there and playing catch with my friends. That's what it is.
Nice.
that's good stuff. That's good stuff.
20
So
seconds
again,
left on the clock. I'm gonna go out there and play catch with my friends. We're gonna win this game real quick.
we're gonna see that this weekend, right? I mean, you guys
That's
gonna
right.
be rolling up
Well,
that much.
hopefully it doesn't come to that.
That's what I was just gonna say. You're gonna be up by that much. It won't be necessary. You will be running the ball, hand off.
Hey, they're Albany's a great team, so we're gonna have to bring our A game and go out and do it.
Certainly. No. Now it's very good. So what you normally do, Tyler, towards the end of kind of our show and stuff, Eric has what we call the walk-off 10. So Eric, I'll turn it over to you.
So I'm going to ask you some questions. It's either true, false, or one-word answers.
Perfect.
All right, true or false? You secretly think every play should end with you throwing a touchdown. Okay. One word. What's the first thing you yell after a game-winning touchdown?
Man, probably let's go. 2 words, sorry.
All right.
But let's go. That's my thing.
That works. True or false? You practice your touchdown celebration more than you'll admit.
False. That's why I suck at my touchdown celebrations. I don't know what to do. I get in there and get excited.
Hey, look at Hulkmania, right?
That's right. That's right. I just got excited and flexed, and all of a sudden,
He doesn't have that many jerseys to rip, so there's a limit.
All right, one word. What's scarier, the blitz or your coach?
My coach. I definitely, he is a legend in arena football. He's the greatest to ever do it. And I think for me, it's not even that he's a scary guy. It's, I don't want to disappoint him, and that scares me.
Yeah, makes sense. True or false? You've ever pretended you knew the play when you really didn't? Something in particular?
Sometimes, you just got to pretend like you know what's going on and fake it till you make it, right?
Right. One word, describe your O-line.
They're gonna be watching this. Watch out, Tyler. They will be watching.
I would say loving.
All right.
They put their bodies on the line for me. I would say loving.
Okay. True or false? You check the Jumbotron after every big play.
True. Mostly touchdowns. If it's a big play and I'm still on the field, usually I'll go to my coach. But if it's a touchdown, usually I'll peep that Jumbotron a little bit.
All right. True or false? You'd rather throw for 300 yards than score a rushing touchdown.
True.
Okay.
Yes.
And one word, what's your secret weapon on game day?
My secret weapon on game day.
Not eating.
It has to be what my wife says to me every time I get off the phone with her. She says 3 things. Don't get tackled, don't throw the ball to the other team, and win the game. And that's what she says to me every time she gets off the phone and tells me good luck in my game. Those are the 3 things she says to me, and that's my secret weapon right there.
Hey, that'll keep you going for sure.
That's right.
That will make you successful on every level.
There you go. Exactly. Exactly. Just those 3 things, right?
Yep. Nice. Well, hey, good luck this weekend. I know I'll tune in and watch and pull for you. So thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, dude.
Thank
Thanks
you so
for making
much.
time, even though with the big game coming up, man. And yeah, take care of that body, and hopefully, we'll see you win this weekend. All right.
That's the plan. Thank you guys so much for having me. Go Cats.
Yep.
Absolutely.